show, and let's make it happen. Let's see if this time I can actually stream this week. Let's see, custom live streaming service. Looks like it's working this week. Unbelievable. That would be nice. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love it. This is our 223rd meeting of Thinking Out Loud with Friends, and I've got some great friends in the room. And thank you, everybody, for participating. Remember, you make it happen, and you'll make it happen by doing your own research. That's all I could say, because you never know what you're going to hear. Could be, well, all of a sudden now my picture disappeared. How do you like that? What do I have to do around here to make this happen? Oh well.
There you are. You're
I'll
back.
just switch over right now. Yeah, I know.
We got the racing stripes.
We'll see what happens. I'm trying to do something else. Oops, click the wrong button. Just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion, so do your own research. Don't worry about looking at me. I'll show you where I am later. I think here I am right now. So there you go. There I am. And it is Thinking Out Loud with Friends. Where's my logo? There it is. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. There you go. There we are. Thinking Out Loud with Friends. Remember, you make it happen. And so, what were we talking about? We were talking about Cheetos and Wayne's sexual habits. No, we weren't. No.
I think we'll stick with the Cheetos.
So, talk about the porn stars, Wayne. We want to hear more.
So, Jan, what are you doing in Baltimore?
Magically, okay. Work. Yeah.
So just so we all know, it's like, okay, so I've kept this on the QT, but I think I've told you guys before, but I'm ready now to share it with the world. Last year in October, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so before you all go, oh no, oh, it's horrible, yes, it is. Thank you for saying that. But all kidding aside, my reality is that, as everyone says, if you're going to get cancer, the best cancer you could possibly have is someone else having it for you. But next to that, basically the best you could hope for is prostate cancer, because it's slow growing. And what they say is when you hit a certain age, you'll either die from prostate cancer or with prostate cancer. And so I did a lot of research, and I decided to go with the ultimate in cancer research facility, which is called Johns Hopkins. And so I am going to be at Johns Hopkins for my prostate cancer treatment. It'll take 6 weeks in total. I had my first meeting on Monday. It was really, really nice. The people are good. They're very professional. I feel very comfortable. Today I had a chest X-ray at another facility, and the woman says, "What procedure you're going for?" And I said, "Brachytherapy." And she said, "Oh, a lot of my patients go for that. It's you're going to be fine." That's what she said. She said, everybody's fine. This is outpatient treatment. And basically what brachytherapy is they insert one needle in your proscenium, right? Did I say that right, Chris? Proscenium?
Perineum, I believe. That's
the perineum. Well, the proscenium is where, yeah, there we go. And I want to do it. I want to do it in a theater so everybody can see my butthole. I mean,
I was going to say, what's with the theater?
Yeah.
But I
modern Greek tragedy kind of thing.
Yeah, but what I have to do, if I'm going to have it done in the round, I want to also get it bleached. So you're going to look at my butthole, man. It's going to be clean as a whistle. Not that I want anybody to blow that whistle, but I swear, it'll be fine.
Everything you hear is an opinion.
Everything you hear is
there's nothing.
Fabrication.
Look, if you've never had a rim job, oh, wait a second, let me take my name off of this thing. If you never had a rim job, you don't know what you're missing. Talk about going around the world. My God. Oh, that's another.
Wow.
Anyway, that's where are we? Where are we today?
I think that's where Wayne was headed, Jen.
So here's my recommendation to everybody, and I'm serious. Everyone in this room and everyone in the sound of my voice. If you are over 40 years old, please do yourself a favor and get a PSA test. The PSA test, it's a blood test. It's simple, it's easy, and it will tell you whether or not you have prostate cancer. And if you get it early enough, you'll be like me, 6 weeks, it's all over and said and done with, and you're cancer free. So that's what I recommend. If you haven't had one, go get it now.
So you're going to stay there for 6 weeks, and what do you have to go in like twice a week or something? And
well, the first treatment is next Wednesday, and so I was going to talk about that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll give Chris the keys to the highway here, the keys to the kingdom, so he could start the show if I'm not able to. But I should be back in time because the procedure's over at about 2:00 in the afternoon, and they say that I'm going to be fine. I might not even be tired from this procedure. Whenever they knock you out these days, they knock you out with a hypnotic and a what's the other thing they give you? Well, something to knock you out, but the an anesthetic and a hypnotic.
Yeah.
And the hypnotic, I mean, I hate to get down and dirty once again and leaving the the rectum, but if you've ever had a what's a colonoscopy, it is the best sleep you're gonna get. And you're not gonna get a better sleep.
It is.
You're not gonna get a better sleep, man.
Ask Michael Jackson how that worked out with his propofol sleep for like 1 month.
Yeah, and also what's his name? Matthew Perry. Matthew Carey? Matthew Perry? Is that what his name was?
Well, that was ketamine.
You can get better sleep during a bass solo.
Yes, while getting a rim job. It's really easy to go to sleep that way. Yes, I tell you, bringing that back. But that's what I say. So anyway, get yourself a PSA test and stay safe and stay healthy, my friends.
So what are they going to do? They're going to go in there and what are they going to do? They have a little probe or something?
Well, they call Roto-Rooter. He comes in, and no, basically what it is it's one little needle that goes through the perineum, and that expands to 11 needles. And it encircles the prostate. You're knocked out at the time. And they turn on the radiation, and they radiate the whole entire prostate, and then they take it out, and that's it. So there's no radiation in your body. When they're done, you're not glowing for 24 hours or anything like that. It's over and done with. And
so
supposedly
they
it's
take
not
it out?
painful.
Oh, they take out the probe.
Yeah,
they basically stick it in, and then this way they can get a highly localized radiation field.
Yeah,
and you do that once a week?
Technology. No, once only. Once only. You do it once only, and then after that, I have a little bit of respite period, and then they start the beam therapy treatment, and the beam therapy treatment is basically 5 days a week, and then you take the weekend off. And they're telling me basically that it's non-intrusive, and the only side effect will be I might be tired. The old joke is, and I didn't realize it was an old joke until I was talking to my cousin about this, because I just thought I was so clever. I swear, I thought I was just so clever. So the doctor says to me, when I asked him, I said, well, what's the side effects? How long am I going to be down for? And the doctor said, well, most of my patients are out playing golf the next day. And I said, you mean to tell me that I'm going to be playing golf the next day? And the doctor said, absolutely. And I said, wow, that's great, because I never learned how to play,
there
it is. So now I'm a golfer.
So what is beam therapy? Does they explain to you how that works?
You better go buy your violin too.
Again, it's highly localized radiation therapy.
Yeah. So basically, what they've described it to me is I'll lay down on the table, and the beams will go around me for about 3 minutes, and that's it.
Oh wow!
So I'll let you know what it's like.
It's like a shotgun mic for your balls.
Yeah, exactly.
So exactly. You're going to get a little.
Only I hope they're not doing my balls. They want to do it a little higher than that.
You're going to get a little cross tattoo on your ass so they can aim it right.
Yeah, they're going to tattoo me. By the way, I'm going to get some tattoos.
So it's a hypercardioid.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We can reduce this all to terms we can understand.
That's right. I'm going to need a preamp, though. You know, that's it. So that's it. You know?
So you're gonna walk okay when you're done, or you gonna have little bow legs, or what?
Well, I've got Bo right here. I don't know about her legs, but if she has to carry me, she will. You know, she's
So
all
I
set.
was
She's
thinking-
ready to go.
I was thinking, I think that the pronunciation might be perineum, but I'm not positive.
It's either perineum or perineum. I think, yeah, exact like Caribbean or Caribbean. Yeah.
Anyway, hey, we're not doctors. If there's a doctor in the room, let us know. Other than that, do your own research. You know, that's what I say. Do your own research.
Just don't ask him to write it down, because then you'll never be able to know what it is.
Yeah, really.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video. I'm sure there's a YouTube video about it.
Oh, I think
I bet
Kurt
Wayne
looked
could
like
find
he
it.
was. Kurt looked like he was going to show us his perineum there, but I guess his camera's coming back up now.
Getting out of the car, man.
All I can tell you, Dan, is that when I went in for brain surgery, they were like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Oh, you can't imagine." I mean, I was being totally serious. So they got me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and you have to rinse yourself with this, you know, solution and all this stuff, and stick stuff up your nose because the thing went up your nose to do the operation. And they gave me, I think it was 3, oh, now I'm going to forget the name, Xanaxes. And let me tell you, man, 20 minutes after that, I had no problem. I mean, that was the most amazing trip I think I've ever been on. was sort of the anti-anxiety stuff that they put me on before they completely knocked me out. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's. I think you know modern medical science is really very, very, very spectacular. I mean, if you get it early enough, they can almost cure everything. I hear right now that you know, most people who get diagnosed with pancreas cancer, you know, don't have much time to live. But I'm hearing now they're making remarkable strides in that area as well.
The best, if you're concerned about it, the best way to go is, which I think I'm going to probably do this year, is the full body MRI. It's like $3,000, and
recording in progress.
You just get to find out about all of that stuff. Because I have to go in every year to get follow-up scans, and so why not just do my whole body for an extra, you know, $2,000.
So Jan, my dad, you know, he's been gone probably 20 years, but when he had cancer, they discovered he had stage 4 lymph cancer. And we thought that was the end of that. We were thinking like weeks, maybe. And they were able to, he died 15 years later of something totally different. They actually, they cured him. He never got anything. There was no trace of it ever again. So, you know, I was amazed. If they could do that, then
that's insane.
Stage 4, all of his chest, all of his lymph nodes and everything was
because
all...
typically if you get, you know, like small cell or large cell lymphoma, when it makes it into the lymphatic system, your goose is cooked.
Yeah, we thought it was his days. We was counting his days, and he actually did fine and died 15 years later of something totally different.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like that old Woody Allen joke where he talks about his friend Eggs, you know, that he had a pain in his chest and Eggs had the same pain. And so basically Woody Allen says that to save the money of the doctor, he talked to Eggs into going to the doctor for the examination. And he figured he would call Eggs and find out what was wrong. And, you know, then he would be able to save the money and, you know, find out what Eggs happened. So anyway, he calls up Eggs' house the next couple of days, and Eggs' mother answers the phone, and he says, how's Eggs? And said, oh, you didn't hear? Eggs died. Woody Allen hangs up the phone, you know, runs to the hospital, gets a battery test, nothing's wrong with him. So he calls up Eggs' mother again. He says, well, by the way, how did Eggs die? You know, did he go quick? She said, yeah, it went really quick. He got hit by a truck, you know.
Did anybody here watch the Kaminsky method?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With what's his Michael Douglas?
Yeah, there is in one of the episodes, there's a scene where he is diagnosed with prostate cancer, and Danny DeVito is the urologist, and
Oh, is that
Oh
funny?
my God.
that has to be one of the funniest
Oh, he's so wonderful.
pieces of comedy I have seen in years. I was literally crying, laughing on the floor with that one.
You know, my favorite actor in that was Alan Arkin. Alan Arkin
Oh,
played
I
a
mean, he did the
phenomenal
in-laws.
character.
I mean, do you remember
Yeah.
the in-laws?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Serpentine.
Serpentine. Oh yeah, no, there are flames on my cup. Yeah, I know that was that was absolutely some of the most brilliant. I mean, Alan Arkin was, and it was sad. You know, he was getting kind of old and tired in real life, and decided not to do another season. So that's why he died on the show. But that was honestly, if you haven't seen it, it's got to be free on Netflix. It is really one of the. There's that, and then the
in-laws, right? The in-laws. That's what.
well,
it's
the
called.
in-laws, and then the other one that just killed me was, I mean, it's very kind of high concept comedy, was Fleabag. Okay, there's
Oh yeah.
there's a little bit of, you know, that's kind of adult themed, but it is very well written and extremely well acted and fantastic. If you like British comedy, that's a great show.
What about that Mrs. Maisel? Have you watched that?
That was great. I love that.
Not
show.
not familiar with it.
The Marvelous
David?
Mrs. Maisel.
And that was about something that was, she was like a performer, right?
She was a housewife, a an upper middle class housewife in New York in the 50s, and her husband wanted to be a comedian. And she goes and somehow gets on stage, and she just wipes out the audience, keeps them laughing, and that's it. She has this career that starts from nothing and she becomes really good. But the humor was her family. I mean, they were just so middle class Jewish, stuck up New Yorkers, and it was a funny show because her comedy was great. She was funny.
The female version,
It was observational funny. She would talk about her life, talk about her husband.
the
You know,
female
that kind of
version of Jan.
Say again?
Female version of Jan.
Yeah, that's it. The female version of me. That would make sense.
No,
That would
Jan
definitely
tells-
make sense.
Jan tells jokes. She just told stories. So she
Right.
wasn't quite a female version of you.
All right. Well, there you go.
We're gonna start calling you Jane Landy. That's it, buddy.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
done.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So what else is on people's minds now?
So
Nothing?
He'll only be Jane Landy if the procedure goes really wrong.
Yeah, if it really goes wrong, you know.
Oh, we thought you were somebody else. Yeah. Did you? I mean, it's a sad, awful story, but there was somebody who went in for an operation and they ended up doing a wrong ectomy. I think they went in for something and the splenectomy, and they removed the guy's liver and he died. And just because they screwed up on the chart, maybe Greg's kind of nodding his head. He knows about that one. I can't.
Yeah,
They
that
gotta
was
be-
here in Florida.
They got to be really careful with all this trans stuff. They really got to know what when people come in to have an operation, what they're going in to look for. You know, it's
Now, this
Scary.
guy went in for, it was down in South Florida. He went in to have a spleen removed, and the doctor removed his liver, and he died.
Wasn't that in The Meaning of Life by Monty Python?
Yeah, I don't know, but I can't. It's been so long since I've seen the movie Meaning of Life.
Yeah. Well,
That's where you had-
I'll tell you. Yeah, Ken.
Isn't that where they had the Universe song, and he wanted her liver, and she said, "No, I still use it." And it says, "Well, it's going to be useless. It doesn't matter."
Well,
Can't believe none of you have been Monty Python watchers over the years.
I
I've
watched
been
them
watching
way a
plenty of Monty
long time
Python.
ago, but oh,
Yeah.
I hardly remember. I remember
I
a
used
couple lines, but that's about it.
I used to memorize their stuff, like the Four Yorkshiremen, like, here we are, who would have thought 40 years ago today, drinking Shastly, wine. And then one say, yeah, in the old days, we could barely afford the price of a cup of tea. And then another one would say, yeah, cold tea. And then another one would say, without milk or sugar, or tea, and that's it,
So,
just to see how poor they were.
So I do these builders award shows, and a couple times a year, they have a convention attached to it. So one year it was like a Thursday night was the award show, and we did 3 days of breakfast sessions and lunch sessions leading up to the Thursday. So it was like a Wednesday morning, and we were getting ready for the breakfast session, and the guest presenter, the keynote, was who's the guy from Monty Python who did all the
John Cleese.
John Cleese,
Cleese.
right? So they said, "Oh, John Cleese is going to be our guest presenter this morning," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool," So he comes in the morning, right? And I meet him, and we're talking a little bit, and
Super nice guy.
oh, very nice guy, very nice guy. And I told him, I said, "So when they introduce you, do you want me to play you on with one of the Monty Python tunes?" And he said, "Sure." So I said, "Okay." So we did, right? So he's so funny. We play him on. He gets up to the lectern, right? And he just stands there. Now you're talking, these are all architects and builders and their wives, right? And they're here for this convention. And he looks at his watch, and then he puts his hand down and he goes, I don't know why the fuck you guys even invited me to do the speech today, because I know nothing about the building industry. So I have absolutely nothing to say. So I'm just going to talk about a bunch of other shit for like 45 minutes, and hopefully you'll be interested in it. So that's what he did. He talked about all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with nothing. And every once in a while, he'd look at his watch, And at the end of the 45 minutes, when he looked at his watch, he goes, "Up, time's up. Thank you so much for having me," and turned around and walked off the stage. And that was his 45-minute presentation. And he said absolutely nothing about anything, but we laughed all the way through it. It was
That was like
Yeah.
Steve Martin when he did the comedy routine about the plumbers convention, the gangling sprocket or whatever it was. I can't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was brilliant. I mean,
Oh, I
He
thought
had
that
some
was
good
the
stuff.
Jetsons. Oh no, that was Spacely Sprockets. Sorry.
Space
Yeah.
sprockets, yeah.
yeah, it was a gangling sprocket. And I said socket, not sprocket, and that's the joke. And
so way back when AutoZone first started, they had not had any stores in California yet, and they were about to venture into California. So we did this huge event in San Diego, and it was like 7,000 people for dinner at rounds of 10. So it took up like a boatload of space. And the guest presenter that night was Jeff Foxworthy, and I had never heard of him before. And oh my God, it was so hard to pay attention to the show. The tears were rolling right down my cheeks. He had everybody on the floor. It was so funny. Oh my God. And I've loved him ever since, and he's still really great. The redneck stuff and all that stuff. Oh my God. And these were all like AutoZone managers and owners and stuff. So they were totally on board. It was very funny. And I had never heard any of his redneck stuff before. And oh my God, it was just wonderful.
He's a very funny guy. Very
Very
guy.
nice too. Yeah.
There's some really funny comedians. Bill Ellen Evangelical, I think his name is. Bill, does anybody know who he
that's
is?
like his best friend, isn't it? Don't they do shows together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the other guy that I really
and the plumber guy
and
Larry the plumber.
Larry
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's
cable
Larry
guy.
the cable guy.
Yeah, the cable guy. Yeah.
I really like Ron White. Ron White, funny guy, very
Yeah,
funny.
he's good.
As well. He's got that shtick like he's like always drunk on stage. He's drinking all the time on stage. Very funny guy. Very funny guy.
Well, he's got his own brand now, so he's got to drink that when he's on stage.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
I think
That
so.
and he smokes cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Lewis Black. Lewis Black is kind of mellowed out in his old age, So
I
there's a lot of good
haven't heard any of
comedians.
his bits in a long time. He was really funny, but mellow would not be not be a word I would ascribe to Lewis Black.
Yep. I did a show with Robin Williams once, and he broke the microphone in the middle of the set, and then he started giving me such shit, about it. But he was being funny at the same time. But it made me look like a jerk, like I was like he really made me feel bad. But he broke the mic himself,
Well, my two comedian interfaces that come to mind. One, we were doing a fundraiser dinner for I think it was the police, Los Angeles police, and their entertainment was Jay Leno, and he came out and did his bit, and he was funny. Although I used to think he was way funnier back before he got the Tonight Show. He was way edgier when he was younger.
Yes.
But he did a great job, and then he went off, and they were doing an auction to raise money, and the auctioneer was like a member of the association or something like that, and he was awful, like horrible. So Jay, to his credit, came back out and sort of took the microphone away from the guy and ran their auction and made him a ton of money. So he did a fantastic job, and I don't think that was really in his job description for that night. And the other one time we were doing a press thing, and we were hanging out for a little while with the guy that does Triumph, the comic insult dog.
Oh yeah.
That was funny. If you've ever seen the bit when he was doing the Conan show, if you've ever seen the bit of Triumph goes to the Westminster Dog Show, if not, Google it on YouTube. It is so funny. It's so rude.
The concept sounds like a riot.
So Wayne, do they have any Australian comedians?
I'm sure they do.
But you're not following any of them.
Not really. Paul Hogan's probably I followed because he was good.
He's a comedian?
I thought he was.
Oh, well.
Don't you think he's a comedian? I thought he lived in LA.
Well, then he's no longer Australian then, is he?
Well, no, I don't know how long he's lived there, a long time, but I think he's back in Australia now. There's lots of good comedians, but I'm not really a comedian follower.
Well, there you have it. But one thing now that you brought that up, you like cars, right? You like cars.
Yeah, I'm into cars. Did you know that Monty Python had a killer car, and it was a Morris Minor, the little roundy one, in one of the episodes, movies. Do you remember that?
No.
I think it was
the episode. I do remember the Morris Minor cars. They're like
they were the killer cars.
Yeah.
Was that the 3-wheel car?
Sorry?
Was that the 3-wheel car?
No. It's a little Maury with like a little roundy one.
It was like one of the first front-wheel drive cars ever, and it used to win not the Pikes Peak, one of those mountain races where they had a race to the top of the mountain. It might have been Pikes Peak, but I think it was in Europe. And because they were front-wheel drive, they used to win the race every year. And so the manufacturers finally got smart, and now you have front-wheel drive cars everywhere. But that was the Morris Minors, and the Mini Miners claim the fame.
You know, it's a really interesting show. Speaking of cars and comedians, Jay Leno's Garage. Have you seen any of those?
Show. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's got like a massive car collection.
Yeah, I watch it all the time. I love that show.
I love that show too, as well.
What about Get Smart?
And another funny show regarding cars is comedians in cars having coffee.
Right.
Some of them are pretty brilliant.
Jerry Seinfeld.
I used to like
Jerry Seinfeld, yeah.
Does anybody remember
a few of those? Those are good.
Those two guys in Boston would talk about cars? That was hysterical.
Was it Click and Clack? Click and Clack?
Yeah. The Tappet brothers.
Yes, you remember Click and Clack?
Oh,
That's an East
it.
Coast thing, wasn't it?
No,
it was NPR.
Was it?
That was NPR. That's right.
My dad loved it too. I got it from my dad, but I thought it was an East
those
Coast
guys were funny, and they happen to know about cars too. I don't know how they did it, but they did know about cars. And I think they still have some old. I think they still have some old episodes running.
Well, I'm sure they do. They were. Tommy died. The taller, older one. He passed away several years ago. But yeah, they were they were voices in the first Cars animation movie. They were the rescue
really?
guys. If you ever saw the animation movie Cars, Pixar.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
Yeah, they're
guys
very
remember
good.
the Isetta with the front of the car that opened and the steering wheel was on the front of the car? My dad had one of those when I was
That was the
like
Isetta.
3. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Isetta.
Yeah.
I learned to drive in one of those little Morris Minors. That's what I learned to drive in, those little roundy
Really?
fellas. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
did
I put a Morse minor up in the chat.
Well, those, did the first
yeah.
one that have the turn signals that came out of the side of the car?
That's the one. That's the ones.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny. So wasn't the
Now-
Mini Cooper, the original Mini Cooper, wasn't that front wheel drive or was not front wheel
Yeah.
drive?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all
the-
front wheel drive.
All
I
the
do-
Coopers were front wheel drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
My
so, but I
stepbrother
wasn't
had
sure.
one of the original Mini Coopers for a while. Cool looking car.
I really want one. If I buy another car, that's the car I want. That
That's a
was
Is
the-
go-kart
is that
with a
the
back- with a
original-
body.
The movie, what was the movie? The heist or
Yes,
the
the
Italian
Oh
heist.
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Where they
Italian
The
job.
drive
Italian
it, they
job,
drive
that's
it
what
down
it
through the
was,
building when they,
Yeah,
The
the
Italian job. It was
Yeah.
called the Italian job.
oh my God,
Yeah.
that was
Cooper
And
great.
then
is
they
where
did the
got
remake with the newer ones. That
They
was pretty
redid
funny.
it in LA, in Hollywood.
What's the
I
UK?
read an article about that they really enhanced the suspension on all those cars.
Well, Mini
For
was
that.
acquired. Mini was acquired by BMW a number of years ago. So
Right.
The Mini
Right, I-
Cooper
I-
is where they got the inspiration for the name of the character on Wonder Years.
Ah.
The little girl, Winnie Cooper.
Ah.
Winnie Cooper. Oh, very funny.
So I did a BMW event at the design studio in Sherman Oaks. And one of the things that, you know, they didn't like to talk about the fact that it was there because once the BMWs got all, you know, aerodynamic is when they started designing them in California, and they didn't want anybody to know that they were designed there. And that's where they designed the Nokia phones and a bunch of other stuff. But when we went to do the walkthrough and the site survey, they had the new version, the redo, of course, of the Mini Cooper in the clay room, and they hadn't been built. There was one car with no engine sitting there, and all the clay models were there. So we got a chance to see the car before, you know, the general public did. It was pretty funny. But
Have you ever been in one? Have you ever been in a Mini Cooper? They are so big inside.
they
look
are
so
amazingly
small.
big inside. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, Fred Lichter's been driving one for a long time, and he's a pretty big guy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I want to buy, and they're reasonably priced. I mean, before I left for Thailand, I was they were going in the neighborhood of about 12 to 15,000 for a used one.
So
on CarMax
Porsche,
lot.
when Porsche designed the Carrera GT, the car that Paul, the guy from the Fast and Furious, died in.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Several years before that car was even sold, they had made 2 of them. And one of them was on display at the LA Auto Show in the Porsche booth, and they put it up. They built a little pond in the middle of Petrie Hall,
I remember that, Wade.
and and they had the car sitting on blocks in the
what
pond.
a mean car, man.
So there at the time there was there you go. There was 2 of them in the world, and at the time they claimed they were going to sell for about 250,000. By the time they finally released it, it was closer to 450. But anyways, at the end of the 12 days or so of the LA car show, the car had all these little dents in it from people throwing coins into the fountain. They were beside themselves
Isn't
over
that
this.
interesting?
They were so pissed. But they're because there was only 2 of them. And so
All right,
yeah, I
Wayne,
got a
let's
couple
see
of
the
great
model.
pictures of that car somewhere.
Let's see the model, Wayne.
Yeah, let's see that model, Wayne.
Uh,
Let's see that model.
Let's see. Hang on. Let me see if I can figure it out.
You're
Wayne,
muted.
look, I
Wayne
might
Sims,
know.
let me see it, Wayne. Come on, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
And is that the car you drive, Wayne?
You know.
You're
No, no,
muted. You're muted, Wayne.
Oh,
No, I can hear him.
there we
that
go.
looks like an original Mini.
Yeah,
How
that's
do
a
you
cool.
get in that? How do you get into that? You're really
Open the
small.
doors.
Oh, that's it. There you go.
So that's a Mini
Hey,
Cooper S, I think. That's a Cooper S.
I got a question for you guys, and I'm because this you guys are so knowledgeable, but I think Chris, you were the one who said this. The Dead Man's Curve for James Dean, was that on Santa Monica when the Santa Monica Boulevard opens up into, or Santa Monica Highway opens up into the Pacific Coast Highway?
Is that where he
I
died?
don't believe so.
Mulholland.
If
I
that's
thought he
where,
died on Mulholland Drive.
if that's where he died, that's up in, that's closer to Paso Robles on one of those roads out in the middle of nowhere. There's a
Right,
Y
that
in the
goes
road.
that goes from the 5 to the 101. I think
Right.
that's kind of like
Yeah.
where he. I don't believe that was in Los Angeles
No, it
County.
wasn't.
I
Yeah.
know nothing about it.
Yeah, that road, when I drive to Monterey to do a show, I go up the 5 and I get off at oh, I can't remember the name
Yeah,
of it,
where you turn left and you traverse, and then you get over to the 101, and then you can make
right.
it. Up
And the road comes right into Paso Robles, just south of there, and that's in the middle of that valley. There's a Y in the road, and that's where Dead Man's Curve was, and that's where he that's where he got.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I thought. Because when I came to LA, one of the things that I wanted Bo to see was as we got out of the tunnel on the 10 that leads into PCH by Santa Monica, I said, okay, get the camera ready, and boom, it opened up. And that is such an impressive view. If
That's
you've
cool.
never, just imagine you've never seen the Pacific Ocean before, and that's the way it's introduced to you.
So that is the reason that the turnoff, if you don't come into PCH off the 10, you come in off of a road called Mumat Ahito. And for the longest time, I thought that was Hawaiian, and I researched it. And in fact, it's Native American, and it means, this incredible view. And so you got it right.
Wow.
Yeah. And then guess where we went? We went to Malibu Seafood, and I invited Bruce, but Bruce was doing a show. He was working. And I invited Chris, and I invited Kenny, and we had lunch at Malibu Seafood.
Well, I would
And
have
it was
loved to have
really,
done that.
really cool.
Wow. Oh man, I'm
And-
sorry I missed it.
Yeah, no. it
Yeah,
was really
order
not
the ahi
bad.
tuna sandwich. It's great. That's what Chris had. I had the lobster roll and the fried oyster sandwich for Bo, because I wanted her. I know she likes both of those foods, but I would think that the ahi tuna thing is, like Chris knew, was the bomb,
Oh no, that place is, and we were lucky because there weren't a whole lot of folks there, so we didn't have to wait. But that place can get very, very busy.
So is she
Yeah,
liking the
that was-
US?
She's loving the U.S. Are you loving the U.S.? Yes, she says she loves the U.S. She's sitting over there to the side. She says she loves it, She says she loves it, and I believe her. She's an
That's
honest woman. At long last, an honest woman. And she loved the food. So let me show you this, guys. So unfortunately, I'm not going to share, but I am going to. What I'm going to do is show you the pictures. Let's see if you could see it. Can you see the pictures on my phone?
Oh, that's great. Right on the beach, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
right,
it's
let's
right
see,
on
let's see.
PCH.
Oh man.
Okay, and so that's I wish I could see it, but I can't see it. It's not showing me. Could you see the pictures?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, didn't
Oh,
swipe.
there we go.
Didn't swipe.
Yes.
It didn't
Oh, are you
swipe?
swiping?
Yeah, there you go. I'll swipe
okay.
again. That's okay. Whoops. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I get
There
the
it is
one
in front.
Yeah, in front of the sign. There we are.
But there's one really good shot I want to show you. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Ready? I'm going to come back to it so you'll see it. Ready?
That's
And
great.
and you can see Bo's in the picture as well.
Yes,
It was really cool. It was a great lunch. And the best part about it, it was free for those guys. That's all I can say.
Thank you again.
Everybody wanted to pay, but I insisted. I have to say, you were very generous, Chris. Everybody was very, very generous. But I felt like it was my treat because you
Thank
guys
you
came
very
out to
much.
meet
That
me.
was a great lunch.
It was, and
Yeah,
the
I'm
company was even better.
I'm
Company
really
was even
sorry
better.
I missed it. I'm really sorry I missed it. That was
But we'll do it again. I'll be back. I'll be back in the middle of October. So there you have it.
Good.
So, anybody thinking about going on vacation soon?
I
We're
just
doing a
came back.
cruise over Thanksgiving.
Right? Dave, where'd you just go? Tell everybody, because I thought it was really impressive what you did.
Well, we did two things. We did the river cruise, Viking river cruise up the Rhine River. And that starts in Amsterdam. And we got in there a couple of days early. And I fell in love with Amsterdam. What a great city that is. It's full of young people. It's beautiful. It's got great attitudes. It's got
Bicycles everywhere.
What's that?
Bicycles everywhere.
Unbelievable how many bicycles there are. There are 800,000 people in the country, and there's 1 million bicycles.
And it's very civilized. I think it's a very civilized country. They have outdoor toilets. It's great.
You mean like stand on the corner and pee in a bowl kind of outdoor toilets?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They pull every year. They're constantly taking bicycles out of the canals. They get 8,000 bicycles a year out of the canals. People just toss them in when they break and for fun. And they get drunk and throw them in. So they're constantly bicycles out of the canals. But the guy said 8,000 sounds like a lot, but not when you have 1 million in the country. So it's not so bad.
Wow.
You know what was very interesting to David, and because I was in LA, I noticed they have like these little, I guess I'd call them scooters. They're like, they're like, they're not bicycles. They're like, you
little
put one
battery
foot on and
scooters?
Yeah.
They're publicly available e-scooters. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
E-bicycles also are everywhere.
Yeah, they just drop them right in the middle of the street. They leave them there, and then
They
somebody
are
else picks them
now
up.
banned. They are now banned in Paris and one other major city. They just said enough, and they passed legislation to have them removed.
I think you use your credit card to hop on one, and it's good for whatever
Bluetooth.
And then you could Bluetooth. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then
Just
you
have
leave
your
it.
phone. You install Bird is the big.
And then
one
don't
on
they
here,
drive
like,
around in the
you
middle
put-
of the night and pick them all up or something?
You just put Bird app on your phone. You walk next to a bird, and you unlock it, and off you go.
And don't they pick them up in like the middle of the night or something?
They have GPS trackers in them, so they know where they are, and they know the battery level, and they send around a big bed pickup truck or a trailer, and they pick them up and fix them up and charge them up and put them back out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool thing, but the problem that they were running into in Paris is that because the roads are tight in Paris because they're old cobblestone roads, a lot of people were riding them on sidewalks. And so grandmas are walking out of their house and getting broadsided by an e-scooter. And so they eventually just said enough, and they've outlawed them.
I thought they also outlawed them in San Francisco as well, but I might be wrong about that. But David, where else did you went to Capri? How many cities did you go to?
We started in Amsterdam, and then we took the Rhine River through France, Holland, Germany, and ended up in Switzerland. We saw the cathedral in Cologne. We saw windmills. We had a wonderful time on this. And then from Switzerland, we flew to Italy. We flew to Naples, spent the night in Naples. The next day, we went to Pompeii, which is pretty impressive. I got to say, it's one of the highlights of my life on my trips is to go to Pompeii. And then that night, we went to Capri, and we spent the night on the island of Capri. And then the next day, we took a ferry to Positano, which is right on the Amalfi Coast. And it's built into the cliffs. Everything is up. The streets are narrow. There are no cars in the lower half. And you have to just keep walking up till you can finally get to a place where there are cars. It was exhausting. But anyway, it was beautiful.
Was that a tour? Was that a pre-done? No?
The tour ended in Basel. And then I just became the travel agent and created a tour for us. And we wanted to do the Amalfi Coast. And we did that. And we had to fly out of Rome. So after we did Positano, we went to Rome for that day. And then I flew home 2 days ago and unpacked, repacked, and here I am in Virginia.
Man.
There you go.
And when I get back from this gig in 5 days, I unpack and I repack, and the next day I'm going to New York for my high school reunion. So it's nonstop for me.
My
And then are you
50th
coming to
reunion was
Baltimore?
last week, actually.
What's that?
Did you go to your 50th reunion?
60th.
Oh, my 50th was last week and I did not go.
Well,
Yeah,
mine is
you know what? All you'll see is a bunch of losers there, man. I tell you, people, you'll go see these people that that you haven't seen in so many years, and then you realize why you haven't seen them in so many years.
Well,
It's like
I went to every one, and then this year only about 20 people signed up to go, and I didn't know any of the 20 people, which I just didn't see a whole big reason to go if I didn't know anybody. Other years, I knew a lot of people, and I went other years. I went to the 40, and I went to the 30, and I went to the 20. But this year, I just, and I got a gig. I was at the gig in San Diego, so I figured, I'm not going to go because I don't know anybody, which was kind of sad, but whatever.
well, we're having 100 people with this one. So, and some of my friends from high school, like, you don't see them, but it's still nice to get together and talk about the old times. One day is enough,
one day is too much. I think one day is too much.
Well,
Yeah,
not with the guys that I hung out with. I'm really looking forward to spending time with. And,
You'll look at them and you'll be surprised. You'll look at them and you'll say, "Oh my God, did they get old?"
well,
and
10
you say,
years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago, I did the same thing. I said, "Boy, who are these people?"
Yeah,
one of the
they're
cool,
looking at you.
one of the cool things that our guys did is one of the guys that I knew back then, he owns a bar and a restaurant, like a local sort of dive kind of a place. And what they did the night every year they have a reunion, everybody gets together at the bar and hangs out and yaks and whatever. So that's kind of cool, but they didn't do that this year either. So
how many people were in your graduating class?
600.
Yeah, I had 750 in mine.
Yeah, see, I went to a small school. We were maybe 25, and we're all very close friends. So we even get together off schedule with the school and just do shit. And so the 50th is going to be huge.
I thought we had a small class because my kids, I live here in LA, and when my son graduated, there was like 3,200 kids at Verdugo High School. I was like flabbergasted.
Yeah, I had
we
thousands
were
in my
50.
graduating class.
Sorry, we were 50. Yeah, we were 50, and everybody knows everybody, and we all get along. And it's just such a pleasure to get together with them.
Yeah,
I had thousands of people were we took up a whole football field, and it was, we were split into 4 sessions, and my last year of high school was 6 a.m. to 11 a.m, right?
Wow.
And in those days, I wasn't as sane or as straight as I am today. And for me, the first 2 classes were 6 and 7, so I never made it till I got to homeroom. I always missed the first 2 classes because I was always up the night before, really partying my ass off. So I guess it shows today. Those days. My high school.
10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I had half days because all I wanted to do was work. So I left at like 11:30 and headed to work.
Yeah.
So Jam, my high school, I went to in 1973, and it grew. So there was only 2 years. So I was the first year of the high school, and we used to. There was only 2 blocks, so there was only 2 years. And we watched it grew till when I left in, I don't know what you call it over there, but a year 11, I didn't finish. I didn't do the last year. So, but it was finished.
Well, it's obvious, Wayne. It's obvious, really. So
yeah, so it's quite obvious that I did. I have to exercise my brain muscles quite a bit. But anyway, it was great to watch a school. A very unusual thing is probably a better way to put it. To watch a school as you go there grow, like it was built. We didn't even have an auditorium. We didn't have but we didn't even have a library, and the canteen. I suppose you call them canteens over there. The canteen used to come out of the headmaster's office, and they used to put it on trestle tables.
Oh.
And And it was, so that was a very interesting experience, my high school. And we, back when I was a pretend guitar player, we got to play a few things. We played on the library steps in the school band, and it was very good back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And here's a real piece of trivia for you. This is a silly piece of trivia, but anyway, for some reason, when I was in my year 7, I don't know if anyone used to get the job of cleaning the blackboard in the room. Anyway, I got that job that day, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." So when I finished with the blackboard duster, I put, and you could just see it, I put AC/DC on the blackboard, and you couldn't really see it properly, but I knew it was there. So here, unbeknownst to me, I'm watching telly that night, and on comes this interview, and the blackboard's in the background, and I could see the AC/DC thing on it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's great.
What's the chance of that happening? True
So
story.
Kurt, where did you go? Where did you go to school? I mean, and how many people were in your? Did you grow up in Seattle?
Yeah, I grew up on Mercer Island, which is where Paul Allen lived, and it was a very affluent community. There were those of us that weren't quite that well off, but it was very nice, very great place to grow up. Very upper middle class, all Boeing people in the start. My parents built a house there in the late 50s. But yeah, Mercer Island High School. It's essentially, I mean, it's a public school, but it might as well have been a private school. Like, they've never not passed the levy. We had the largest musical organization of any kind west of the Mississippi for years, because the marching band had like 400 people in it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. They had enough tubas or sousaphones to spell Mercer Island. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's
So,
a lot.
it was
That's a
great.
lot.
It was a really good place to go. I liked the
Yeah.
7th.
What about you, Ken? Where did you grow up with a lot of people?
St. Louis. We were in the growth area, North County, St. Louis. My high school was Riverview Gardens. We had 3,500 in our 3-year high school. We had a junior high in that. The school to our west, northwest was McClure High School, which is probably one of the largest high schools. They had over 11,000 people in that high school.
Whoa.
Trivia note, that's where Michael McDonald went to school, grew up there and played. He was about 3 years ahead of me, played in bands around St. Louis. That band was, that school was the one that basically did the same thing that Jan's school did. They had the first class was at 5 in the morning and went all the way to 9 at night. And it was scheduled, and pretty much at the beginning of the year, you had to say what groups you were going to be in, if you're going to be on the hockey team or the football team or whatever. And they scheduled your classes, scheduled classes, how you're going to do and where. And usually if you had when you got in upper grades, if you had the opportunity to only take 3 classes or 4 classes and get off campus, you did it. They would schedule you with minimum classes that you needed. And then the other school to the straight north of us was Hazelwood, and that had about 9,000 in that high school. So there was some huge football team battles and everything else in that, but it was a heavy, quick growth there. It was all surrounded, all fairly close to McDonnell Douglas there by the airport.
Boy, it sounds like St. Louis needed a whole lot more high schools.
Yeah.
About 4 years later, they started building more McClure North and built a second Hazelwood 2 and all that stuff there. Riverview, the one I went to, was pretty much locked, and they didn't go much more. It started decreasing a little.
So our
Do you ever go to your? Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Our school system had 1 high school. We had 7 elementary schools, 2 junior highs, and 1 high school. And to this day, there's still only 1 high school. It's about twice as big though, but there's still only 1 though.
Yeah, White Plains still only has 1 high school. It was brand new when I went to school in White Plains High. I was the first year to go for all 3 years. In other words, the school was 2 years old. So they took a senior class and moved it in, and a junior class and moved it in, and I was the first sophomore class.
I had an old girlfriend that went to White Plains High School, but I think you're a few years older than I am,
I
David?
think I'm a few years older than you. I graduated in 64.
You never know. You never know. You never know with these things. You know, he looks pretty young for his age. You know,
He does good. He does
I
good.
don't look a day over 90.
Did
We
you
had-
say
that's
you
it.
were,
None of us
you were
do.
in high school? You went to high school in 64?
I graduated in 64.
Oh man,
Okay.
I graduated in 74.
And I was born
I'm
in
older than you are.
62. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
When were you born? What year?
I'm the oldest
Well,
person
end
saying
of
that.
62.
Mm.
I'm December of 62. So holy smokes. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
I'm feeling pretty young all of a sudden.
Yeah, I can't blame you. You know, I feel young with you guys as well. You know, that's it. And I'm probably, well, David probably is a little bit older than me, but I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there.
Jan and
Yeah.
I are 5 years apart.
Yep.
Do the math.
So what was I going to say? Okay. Oh, I know. So we're doing all of this. I wanted to let you know that there's an article. I know you guys were worried about this, but it's true now that the research has come out, and that is that a new technology right now, they just figured out that mobile phones are not linked to brain cancer. It's according to a major review of 28 years of research. The
Really?
review into
Completely
the potential
financed
health
by
effects of
Samsung and Apple. Yeah.
a review into potential health effects of radio wave exposure has shown mobile phones are not linked to brain cancer.
Yeah.
Man, I'll have to tell my wife because she sleeps with it under her pillow all the time, and it
Yeah.
drives me crazy.
Yeah,
Actually,
I think that was a study by Huawei. Yeah, that's it. They put it out. You know, so
Huawei. Yeah, well, you can trust anything they got to say.
yeah. No, it's a legitimate.
Oh boy.
Google it. Don't trust me.
Back
Sponsored
in
by
the
the
day, analog was pretty
Telecommunications
strong.
Workers of America.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of Huawei, they came out, they just showed a triple fold phone. It folds out 3 ways to the size of like an iPad mini. And then you fold it back up and it's like that big. So it'll be, the thing's gotta be incredibly fragile, but kind of cool though. But
Every
I've never owned a
foldable
Huawei.
phone I've seen, you could see the crease, and that would drive me insane if I had a phone that I could see the crease. But speaking of which,
it's one continuous screen that's foldable.
yeah, no, but every phone I've seen that's foldable, and if you go into the Samsung store, you could see the crease after a while, you know, and that would drive me insane. But did anybody see the Apple event, or is anybody planning on buying a new Apple phone or watch?
I saw it, and I don't know. I have one more payment left on my phone, so a friend of mine was telling me, "Oh, they'll give you $1,000 for your phone," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you know what? My phone works great, and I really don't want another payment until I need to, you know." So I haven't decided yet. But
By the way, it's probably up to 1,000. I mean, I hate when I see these ads, you know, and they fool Bo all the time, and it'll say up to 7, you know, in little tiny letters it'll say up to, and then it says 70% off, you know, and you think, oh my God, 70% off, you know, and then you walk into the store and they only mean 70% off. They couldn't give it away, you know. It's like,
When I bought my iPhone, I think I have a 15 now.
Do you?
When I
Mine's a
bought
13 Pro Max.
Mine's a 13 too.
They did give us money back, but the trick is, I think it was, I've had it for almost 2 years, or a year, whatever. But it was like $800 or something. But the way they do it is they divide that money by the 3-year term of the payment schedule and give you
a
monthly credit.
Right. Yeah.
So
with
they're
the
not handing you
$800.
$800.
Yeah.
So your payment's like $12 a month instead of 25 or something.
I don't know. They still got you. You know.
They give you the money, but they break it up so that if you cancel, you then still owe them all that money.
You bet.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
If
Yep.
you keep
Yep.
it for the 3 years, you don't
Now,
owe
the
them.
one thing I'm sorry, David, are you done with that thought?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
one thing out of the Apple announcement that I thought was nice are the new AirPod Pro 3s.
So what's the deal on those? I didn't get to see this thing because I've been a little bit preoccupied. But what's
well,
the deal
first-
on it?
They have far more enhanced ANC, automatic noise canceling. They have a better shape. My problem with AirPods is they basically pop out of my ears. I have funny shaped ears. So the other thing that's interesting is
I want to see them.
you-
Let me see. I can't see. Let me
No.
see yours. Let me see. Okay. All right.
The other thing is if you go to an audiologist and you already have your chart of what your ears are like, you can load that file into your AirPods.
Really?
Yeah. So it will tune it to your ears. if
EQ'd
get
for
a
you.
chart. Yeah, if you get a file from an audiologist,
So the other thing I noticed when I was watching it is the new watches. They if you have diabetes, it tracks your is what's the A1C or whatever that is.
A1C,
Yeah.
Yeah. Jardians.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was pretty amazing. But
And
Yeah,
apparently
yeah.
it also detects sleep apnea.
really,
Yeah, the watch does.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
does it
Just
wake you up
right
to
now,
tell you?
Right now, my favorite commercial though is J.G. Wentworth. I love those commercials.
Oh, they're
It's your
so
money.
bad.
It's your money. It's your money. And then go back to the watch business. All right, go back to talking about Jardians. Get,
Yeah,
We're all
Jardian,
singing on the bus.
That's just classic.
I'm
With-
holding out
with
for
phones.
an Ultra 3. I like
Yeah.
the Ultra watches simply because of the the battery life. You can go 3 days on an Ultra 3 or on an Ultra 2 on my Ultra 2. I'm not wearing it at the moment, but I only have to charge it up, every third day versus when I had a regular Apple Watch. I can't remember what model I had, but I was charging that thing up. I mean, I take a international flight and my watch would be dead by the time I land.
Mm.
I keep trying to convince myself that I want an Apple Watch, but I stopped wearing watches 20 years ago, and I have a couple of really nice ones, and I just can't stand stuff in my pockets, and I don't like wearing watches or anything. So,
Well, the thing about the Apple Watch, I wear it, I go to sleep with it, I shower with it, I swim with it. It's the functionality of the Apple Watch is amazing. I mean, it's a health tool because not only does it track your heartbeat, it tracks your any unusual rhythms, and it will automatically notify you
Yeah.
if something happens while you're sleeping that is out of the ordinary with your heart. It'll wake you up in time for you to have a heart attack, so you can be aware of what's happening.
do I want to be?
That's interesting. I have an Apple Watch. Mine's the Series 8 these days.
Yeah.
I don't wear it to bed. I find it. What I find convenient is because my phone is almost always on silent, which it just goes, part of my regular.
I was
show
just going to
routine.
say
I
that.
just don't
Yeah.
bother with it. Is that I don't miss phone calls or texts because it's right there. My wrist vibrates. The other thing on AirPods, I've tried a couple of the early versions. I absolutely hate them. I won't use them to talk on the phone. And
Yeah,
ever
I've never
since
liked them
had
either.
Yeah, I mean, I have JH Roxanne, so when I'm listening to music, I just bought a little $25 Bluetooth dongle that's tiny. I can show it to you. And so I'm not gonna.
Oh,
There's
I
the
need
phone.
one of those, Wayne, because I have my ears too, and I don't use it
Oh.
on my phone. That's
$25 or maybe 30 by now on Amazon. Little Bluetooth.
What's it called?
dongle.
Which brand is it?
This is a
Chris will come and show you what you're doing in a second. Let's see what
Apex
he's
or
showing.
something.
Can you talk
Right.
on it, Wayne? Like you can on the Apple thing? Like,
No, I
can't
don't talk
on the phone.
I mean,
through
I guess
your
if you
ear?
had if you had a earbuds with a microphone, but my Roxanne's don't have a microphone in line,
Yeah, I've
so I
got
don't. I
Ultimate
only,
Ears, and I'd love to have that instead of the AirPods. I stopped using them because they drove me nuts.
I have Ultimate Ears
What's the
too,
connectors,
molds.
Wayne? What are the
it's
connectors on that?
APEKX. It's a stereo mini in.
But so it's a stereo mini in, right?
Yeah, and then it's got a little some little USB micro or whatever for charging it.
Right.
It's a stereo mini out. You plug your
Another
Stereo
thing
mini
you got to
out, yeah,
charge.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Plantronics makes one as well, which is really good. I own the Plantronics one,
yeah,
but I hardly
but
ever
this
use
one's
it because
worked
I like.
great. I've had it for quite some time, and it works great. And like I said, I don't use ear pods or any other tether to talk on the phone. I just use the actual phone or the speaker on the phone.
Well, you're lucky now. You know you're not getting brain cancer. But if you can see what I'm wearing, I'll turn my head to the left and to the right. I'm wearing the Shocks. The Shocks, there. I think they call the Pro 2. And not only do they sound good, because you could hear, I don't even use a microphone anymore. I use this microphone right here, and they're bone conducting, so my ears are free. I really love these things. I love them. The only thing that I don't like about these things is that there's a proprietary connector. I don't know if you could see this, but basically, it's not a C jack. It's just a proprietary connector, and that's the only thing I don't like about it. I wish I had just they had a C connector into them, and they would be great. But other than that, man, these are phenomenal. They're very lightweight. They sound great, and another drawback is they only connect to 2 devices at a time. So, and normally I use 3. I use a computer, an iPad, and an iPhone. So if they could change that so that they could get 3, then it would be the ultimate.
So Jan, Gary, a systems engineer I work with, has one of those, and he runs his on his FreeSpeak wireless comm, and it took him a while to get it all to work right, but he loves it, and he says it works great for intercom until if you're doing a band thing and it's too loud in there, you can't hear on anything when the band's playing.
That would be surprising.
But for corporate stuff, he says they work great.
Yeah, that would be very surprising because it's bone conducting, so you should be able to hear it even over the loud din.
I liked it better when you could tell at the airport that the people talking to themselves were actually crazy instead of just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the health benefits of drumming. That is a 1-year heart graph, low of 42.
Hold on. Don't keep showing it. Keep showing it so I could show it to everybody. There you go. Now everybody's looking at it.
And with the Myers speaker in the background, but there it is, 42 to 207 for 1 solid year.
Wow.
And that's your heartbeat, eh?
That's from drumming. Yeah.
There you go. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty amazing. And then the other one quick technical note, I did some experiments with this. This is an Earthworks SR25.
Oh,
thanks for clearing that up because we all went to the beginning of the show immediately.
In combination with an SM57, so both mics on the top of a snare. Check it out.
That's a good test mic. It's incredibly flat.
It is. It's incredibly flat, but I love the way an SM57 is on the snare.
Yes.
And when this is solo on it, it's not quite there, but the two together, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning.
I've had people that have been doing that, but what they do is they don't put it pointed at the snare. They put it in between the 2 toms, facing the drummer's, chest or stomach.
Really?
More of the ambience there.
But yeah, it's got, yes, because it's pretty directional. Obviously, it's got that, but then, it's got quite a bit on the sides, right? So that would work, I think. And I have a couple of these, and I use one on the hi-hat, and I did some experimenting on the snare. And when I combined this with an SM57, it was like, oh my God.
That's not a measurement mic. That's an instrument mic.
So if you know, but quite frankly, if there's not an SM59 involved, I just don't know if I have the time to deal with this.
Hey, Bruce, one more thing.
Inside joke for another.
Yes.
Another
One
can.
more thing that I think you will really like is that you could get to you could get to see Snoopy. There's this
Oh joy.
there.
I like the
There it
fact that it
is,
looks like a
Snoopy.
real clock. I like that. I'm not into the digital look at all, to be honest with
And
you.
every time and it's like 150 different actual caricatures of Snoopy doing all
Really?
sorts of different things. There's Woodstock.
Yeah, see,
You can't see.
my wife would love that.
But the highlight for me is there's two highlights. Number one is that it helps you find your phone when you can't find your phone. Or if you have an Apple TV, it will also help you find your Apple TV remote, which is very, very helpful. And the last thing that I find, and Kenny Newman and I, when we went to lunch, it was kind of interesting that we both happen to have. Chris, do you remember what I'm talking about?
I don't.
The decibel meter.
Oh, the DB meter.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
It's got a decibel meter, and what I can do is I'm going to break my wrist here in a second, but if you could hear me talk because it's pretty quiet in the room, but could you see it moving up and down? Blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's really accurate. Kenny Newman says it's very, very accurate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, is how accurate it is, because some of the phone ones are totally out to lunch.
Yeah, this
yeah.
one's super accurate,
Right.
and
So is that an app?
basically,
Is
no,
that an
it
app,
comes with a
Jan?
watch. Comes with
Oh.
the watch.
What,
It's
and
part
what
of the
scale's
watch.
that? And what scale's that, Jan?
Hold on, I'll tell you. It's in this particular case, it's a dB scale. Let me see here. What is its exposure to
Probably
dB?
A-weighted DB.
Let me see if it tells you what it is weighted to. A-weighted.
Yeah, everything's kind of by default is A-weighted.
It's A-weighted.
So
So there you have it.
wonder if they do a version of the watch of the Rocky and Bullwinkle watch where Bullwinkle's there. I'm so confused, and the watch runs backwards. The clock runs
I
backwards.
would love that. Boy, I would love that. But I think
funny.
I'm going to have to. I think the new Ultra watch, it looks to me like what they've done is made it smaller and with more battery life. And I think that, I'm just ready for an upgrade. What the hell? What have I got to lose? But the phone, I haven't seen enough of the phone. But Bo tells me that the Pro Max is like 9 inches long, and that's insane if that's the case. Is it that big?
Is that what I have? A Pro Max? I didn't realize that.
But what's interesting about the Pro Max, though, and also I think on the
Wayne was the only one who got the joke. Jesus Christ.
they have a new camera button. They have a new
Say the
camera
joke
button.
again. Well, first of all, let him say the joke again, and Greg, you go.
Can't do
Tell
it.
the joke again,
It
Chris.
was you just popped up this beautiful balloon, and so anyway.
If you don't have enough to share, don't share it with everybody. That's all I can say.
Exactly. That's it.
All right,
That's it.
Greg, talk.
No, I was saying on the Pro 16s and the Pro Max 16s, they've added a camera button which is like a DSLR button where you push it halfway down and you can see all your settings and see what their photo is going to look like before you click.
Wow, that is cool. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any ads for this, but I haven't seen an ad for a telephone that says this telephone has got the best reception you'll ever have of any telephone. Not one of these manufacturers talk about what you buy the phone for to make phone calls.
I just want a phone that sounds really good.
This also has satellite, which might be interesting for you, Jan. Texting is all done by satellite now.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, basically, I was reading an article that Gen Z and millennials they won't answer the phone. They don't want to answer the phone. All they want to do is text now.
I heard that same thing.
Oh yeah, I've done this guy on the corporate circuit a couple of times. He's a young guy, and he's got a whole presentation built around the difference between Gen Z and Boomers and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
It's actually fairly insightful and pretty funny.
Yeah.
And of course, this discussion leads me to the Louis C.K. line about signals going to satellites and back. You know, it's got to go to space and back. Give it a second.
What I'm finding now is that the best way to communicate with people is to text, because it's a guarantee that they know that you're going to get you know that they're going to get the text, and most people do not ignore texts. I know if a lot of times I won't answer my phone because there's so much spam, but I will look at my text.
My bitch is people don't respond to the text, and you could just put one word or one letter or anything. I just want to know that you saw it.
Yeah. Well, if you have an Apple phone and they read it, there's some
says
check marks
delivered.
on it, right?
Yeah, but you
It says
can
delivered.
turn that off if you want. That's a parameter.
Right.
I
Well,
also
there you have
heard one seminar advertised for parenting with your thumbs.
it.
That's funny. Parenting with your thumbs. That's great.
Well, what do you say we say goodbye to the people who have been watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you have it? Let's just say goodbye to those people and thank you for watching. Remember to click the like button and share. Remember, you make it happen. If you want to be part of the team, just DM any one of us, and we will give you a link so that you could join the show. This has been our 223rd meeting. Next week will be 224, and I'm going to do everything I can to be here for that, although that's the day of my major procedure. So, but fortunately, I'm on the East Coast. And here's an interesting tidbit for you guys, is this is the first time I've done the show where I'm actually on East Coast time. Up to now,
Wow.
I've never done it
Wow.
on East Coast time. I've done it on West Coast time. I've done it on Brazil time. I've done it on Thailand time. I've done it. Well, actually, no. I've only done it on Thailand time and
But
West
have you
Coast
done
time.
it on Tulsa time though?
No.
Don Williams. Now, the other question is that you did it on Nashville time.
Yeah.
That's right. I did do it on Nashville time. That's right. But this is the first time. So now it's what time? It's 9:22 in the evening, and so what can I say? It's been fun. It's been really, 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 really fun. And
Good
I
to
want
see
to thank
everybody.
you all very much. And I hope I'm
If
here next
anybody
week.
wants to watch something really cool on right now, if you go to SpaceX.com, there's a live spacewalk.
Oh, by the
Oh,
way,
the guy's
now-
doing
now-
it. It's the first
Yeah.
private
Right
now, is
citizen
this-
doing a spacewalk.
are these the guys that paid billions of dollars to
Yep.
get up there?
Yep.
Wow, is that insane?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if
Absolutely
you got the
insane.
money, if that's what you want to do, there you go.
Well, if I can borrow it from you, Greg, then I can do it myself. That's it.
No, you got a procedure.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll stay in the room. Does anybody, by the way, have anything else they want to say on live media before we go by? Okay, that's it. We're done. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Remember, you make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if you're a religious guy, say your prayers for me. Okay? I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye now.
All right.
And we are off the air.